War Eagle Auburn family, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on Auburn sports here, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you so much for joining us on a somewhat unconventional Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night, we usually get together at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tonight, we are getting together 1 hour earlier at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Because let's be honest here. At 8 p.m., you are in no way going to be focused on me, on this channel, or frankly, anything else other than technically the beginning of Auburn basketball season. Auburn basketball takes on Alabama Huntsville in their exhibition game tonight, so it will not count towards the season, but it is basically the beginning of Auburn basketball season. So we are so fired up for that. We can talk about that tonight. We can talk about all the other craziness that happened this last Monday from a Auburn football perspective, an AD perspective. It's all on the table because on Wednesday nights, it is your show. It is the topics are dictated by you, your comments, your questions, your derogatory rebuttals. But most importantly, hopefully we'll hear from some of you tonight via calls. You can call into the show tonight. That link is now available at the very top of the chat. All you have to do is click it. You can be on camera, off camera, whichever you'd like to do. Usually, for those of you that are on YouTube, you have easier access to it. I think you can see it over there on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. That's available for you tonight. So we'll get into some of that and get you lined up if you are planning on calling in tonight. I always want to thank our friends at All Things Auburn for making your Auburn Family Night call-in show possible. Now, let's get started with this. This is our normal check-in period for everybody, whether you're watching on the replay, you're watching here live, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or here at the home base of YouTube. Right now in the chat, I would love for you to post where you're watching from, your city, your state. If you're international, do that as well with a War Eagle, a hello, however you'd like to let me know that you're here. Would love to hear some of your locations tonight, where you're checking in from. If anybody's in Auburn Arena tonight and can tell me they're there live, that would be like the most amazing thing ever to actually say, we got people checking in live from the Auburn basketball game. So do all those things for me right now, and we'll hit some of these other topics throughout the night and give you a couple reminders of what to expect for the rest of the week. Oh, one final reminder. We are doing our subscriber giveaway right now. If you have not subscribed, please do so and drop a comment after the fact of this live stream on this video or any other eligible video. Links in the description are available. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in detail as the stream goes on. I'm sure as many other reminders for you guys throughout the night. All right, let's say hello to some folks. I'm sure we're going to have some new faces tonight because we've been, growing this week with everything that's been going on. We got Thomas checking in, Scotty from Noonan, Georgia, Unbeaten Lake. We got Henderson Hardrick checking in, Brian Fulcher, from Minnesota, Chesapeake, Virginia, Rob Donaldson. What are you doing there? Working here all week. Jeez, that's tough to be away from where you're normally from, especially during the opening of Auburn basketball. Stuntman's here. Good to see you. Devin checking in as well. Stan from Cleveland. Man, a lot of new faces I'm seeing tonight. Some of y'all may be new. Let me know if this is your first time here tonight. I'd love to know that if this is your first time visiting in on a live stream with us. Love to give you maybe a special shout out if I can. But thank you guys so much for being here. I said, drop your comments, drop your questions. Let's get into it and get into the phones if you'd like to call in and dictate the conversation. Nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing's off limits. There are some things that are off limits, but I think you'll all be adults and use your brains when it comes to that. We have one caller in. Give me 1 second, caller, and we'll get you in. Excuse me. Just watched Undercover Auburn's recruiting horror stories. Oh my, it was bad. It's really bad. Harsin hated recruiting. Mike Bobo apparently had to drag him into recruiting means. I'm not going to say that I have facts to dispute those articles. I would just ask you to use some common sense, though, in terms of those things are put out strategically. And I'm not saying that there's lies or anything like that. The timing of it is kind of not shocking to me and stuff like that. I talked to someone who works in the Auburn recruiting space, and I asked for their honest opinion a long time, and they said, yeah, it's not good. But I think some of this right now is basically just piling on at this point. So I really don't, frankly, I didn't even read them because I don't care. It's done now. It doesn't matter. It's just piling on at this point. But if that's what you choose to go over there and check out, more power to you. It's just not my bag. All right, let's go ahead and say hello to our first caller tonight, Mr. Positivity himself. What is going on, Mr. Kevin? How are you, sir?
Well, Eagle, I was at the game. I did not see you.
Wait a minute. What game are you at?
Arsaw game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the last game. Yeah, I was there. Did you come to Tiger Walk?
Yeah.
Did you come to Banner?
I had Tanks Bensley's jersey on.
Well, I'm sure you and a lot of others had that one on, so I probably missed you. I am always right in front of the banner. I'm the guy with the pole that's holding a camera up on top, getting ready to live stream it. So that is how you can find me.
I was by their locker room.
Well, see, that's why we missed each other, because we were on opposite sides of Tiger Walk.
Who you think we get for head coach?
I don't know. I think the conventional wisdom right now, I put out a video today for those of you that don't know, kind of breaking that down a little bit. But right now, my money would be on Lane Kiffin. Right close behind that would be Dion.
Bring his running back with him too.
If he comes, I don't know that you're going to see a lot of transferring over, especially because, depending on their circumstances, they'd have to sit out a year. Yeah. And listen, whoever comes, bring whoever you can. We need all the help we can get. Coaches, staff, all that stuff.
They said Deion Sanders might be one.
He definitely might. I think that's one that's a bit of a risk. I'm not saying it's not a risk worth taking, but I definitely think it's one of the more risky ones out there that they could possibly do. So I'm not unopposed to it, but it is not my go-to choice, to be honest with you.
I think if Cornell Williams wins the rest 5 games, he should be the head coach.
Well, I'll be honest with you. If Cornell Williams wins out, he's going to have a really hard or easy case to make against anybody else to take what we have to deal with right now and to work his way through all of that to an undefeated end of the season and a bowl game. That's incredible.
Could all the wide receivers come back?
My understanding is that some of them can. Now, I think the deadline was either today or yesterday that you officially enter in. I think you can pull yourself out of the portal. People, are going to be more smarter on that than I am. But my understanding is there is still some leeway there that they can change their minds. Yeah. But, one of the things that I would ask Auburn fans, and I know this is hard to say, like, do you want them back? And yes, like the correct answer, well, not correct answer. There is a part of me that says, yes, I will take anybody that wants to be part of us. But you already there's a little bit of, burning the bridge there that goes on. And you understand sometimes.
Tavares, Dawson, and Capers stayed.
They obviously can decide to change their mind. It sounds like I would love to have their talent back. I just hope that maybe some lessons were learned on both sides of that, because I don't want to have athletes doing this all the time just because they weren't happy with their situations. But it is what it is. So,
I think we could get Hugh Freeze as a coach.
You think Hugh Freeze should be the choice? So, not to get into all that tonight, but he had some problems in the past that he got in trouble for. You're okay with those?
Or get Gene Chizik back?
Oh no! Wait, listen. I love Gene Chizik. I love Gene. But I am very much a person at this point, if we've done something before, let's not do it again. So I'm not a Will Muschamp guy. I'm not a Kevin Steele guy. We said we wanted something new. Let's do something new.
How about Mark Stoops? He's good.
I wouldn't mind Mark Stoops. He's done a lot with Kentucky. I think you could do a lot worse with him. I don't know that he's going to have the pizzazz that a Deion Sanders, that a Lane Kiffin, that a Hugh Freeze will be able, or a Matt Rule maybe would be able to draw in. So
I let all the Auburn players sign my program Saturday.
Did you get them all?
Yeah, they're still signing autographs.
Well, I'm glad that they're doing that, because my fear was with NIL they wouldn't do that. But Yeah, that's good to hear. You got one more question for me?
I think we can beat Mississippi State.
Not a question, a statement. Hey, listen, Mississippi State is not that good. They're okay. We're not great either right now, but we definitely have the option to beat them, and we definitely are feeling a lot better after Cadillac took over.
Who will be the starting quarterback?
Probably Robbie, unless he's hurt or something like that. I don't think they'll change anything up right now, to be honest with you.
Who started this past week?
It was Robbie. Robbie started this last week, so he'll probably continue to start.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. It was good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in and starting us off on a good note tonight.
War Eagle. Bye.
War Eagle. See you, Kevin. Always great to hear from our master of positivity. We love it, Mr. Kevin. Stan, checking in. Good to see you, Stan. Thanks for being here. By the way, if you are a Booster Club member, a few of you out there, this is not directed at Stan, but some of you I sent some messages to about the start of the month. Check that out if you haven't. Just some things that logistics wise that need to get figured out. All right, let me check and see if we've gotten any more. Let's see here. I've appreciated your podcast over the last few months. Civility, no venom. Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Now, if you're talking about my personal, videos and stuff, I appreciate that. But I also appreciate that you mean the actual audio podcast that we do alongside, where I've been on some of them, but we have other people as well that share their perspectives, not just on football, but on a variety of topics. So, our shtick here, and it is a shtick at E2C Network, is, we're going to try to abide by the Auburn Creed. And that means being respectful of each other. It doesn't mean being a Pollyanna, as people like to call it, a sunshine pumper, even though we get accused of that simply, which is not an insult. I wear it as a badge of honor when I'm called that. But someone that, it's more pleasant to be around a positivity-driven entity, I guess. So that's what we try to do. We're not going to, sugarcoat things, but we are going to try to find things to be happy about, because, gosh, it sucks when you're online and people are just being negative all the time. Trust me, if I didn't have to be on social media, I wouldn't, but I do. Yeah, Kevin like comes in with a list every single week. He's got those questions just down pat. Like, I don't even have time to think. He's got them ready to go every single time. You had a big fan club too, Kevin. Everybody loves hearing from you. I think a few of you I didn't say hello to. Stan from Cleveland, this is your 4th time, so thanks for back. Henderson this was his first time. Happy to have you. Hope you'll enjoy it. We got a good crowd assembling, it seems like, tonight. Y'all like doing it at 7 o'clock. We can certainly talk about it, but 8 o'clock just seems to be that nice sweet spot most of the time. We're just obviously moved up an hour because of the basketball game tonight. So if that's, always feedback's appreciated for those type of things. As always, don't let me forget to, and stick around for a little bit throughout the stream as much as you can. I want to give you guys perspective on a basketball live stream coming up, maybe 2 things later on in the show, and see what you guys would prefer me to do. Terrence Craig with a interesting take on coaching. What do you think it will take to bring Sean Payton to the Plains? I hope nothing, because I don't want him. Let's see. Money. Control the program. I just don't get the inclination that he wants to, or I don't know him or anything or have any information about him, but I don't think that Sean Payton wants to be in college. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I don't understand the allure of him. He had a great small run with the Saints. I guess I don't really get why you'd want him. We're talking about Brazilian stroganoff because Devin's making it, apparently. I actually had stroganoff tonight too, but not Brazilian stroganoff, so I don't know what makes it that. The Ole Miss Alabama game will determine if we get Kiffin. I wouldn't go that far on Beaten Lake. What it will determine is how much we have to pay to get Kiffin. If he loses, you could probably see him going for and listen, there's more that plays into this than that, but you could see him going for a cheaper price. But if he is the front runner, SEC West, going to the championship game effectively at that point, we're going to have to pony up if we want Lane Kiffin, which is what I've thought all along. And that may be, it may ultimately be what sends Deion Sanders, if he is the number 2 choice, to Auburn. The fact that we just can't afford him or get together on a price. Stan, I bought Kentucky tickets to Western Kentucky game last night. Can't wait to get there. Listen, folks, if you don't have tickets, I haven't even looked at prices yet for the the Texas A&M game. The minute I saw Cadillac was coach, I went online and bought my tickets. Normally, I wait till the week of, maybe even the day before, and either find tickets or something like that. I am not missing an opportunity to be in those stands at 6:30 prime time, not Dion, but our prime time, and watch our team and our fans erupt when Cadillac comes out of the tunnel as head coach. If you can get to Auburn, even if you can't get into the game, which we're excited, but there's going to be tickets still available. If you can, come be on Auburn's campus, enjoy the game day. It's probably going to be your last night game of the season. It's going to be a fun game day atmosphere. I am pumped. Absolutely pumped. Penn State this year was amazing. Great game day experience, game weekend. LSU was fun too. This is taking the cake, folks. Get to Auburn if you can. It's going to be fun. Takeo Spikes for DC. I've had a lot of people suggesting Takeo Spikes for this, for that, not for head coach necessarily. I would love nothing more to have a coaching staff of nothing but former Auburn players or just connections, even if they're just coaches. The reality is that usually doesn't work out. Auburn needs people outside of just being coaches that are advocates for them, that are faces to represent them. Charles Barkley is a great example of that. Bo Jackson's a great example, but they're kind of a different era. We need guys that are getting older, but still part of a more different era, like Takeo would be part of the 90s as opposed to the 80s, like those guys, to be in the public spotlight, to be representatives of us. I do think that Takeo is where he needs to be on the SEC network, being that charismatic guy he can be. And I really like his place there. Not that I ever saw him as a TV analyst, but I think that's a good place to have someone like him representing us. I really, really like where he's at. But listen, if he wants to come back and be DC and bust some heads that way, I'm not going to complain. The side conversations, is always interesting in these chats. They so distract me sometimes. We're talking about Brazilian stroganoff. This is what happens on Wednesday nights, y'all. Brian, we should do a live stream Saturday night and watch the game together. So I have toyed with that before. I always do post-game streams. Oh, you're talking about football. Well, I'll be in the stands. So sorry. But in terms of doing games together, those don't necessarily work as well because I can't legally put the game up on TV. I don't have the rights to with me. I can have it right here, but then we're all not going to be synced up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It might be one of those things we eventually do for the Booster Club members or something like that. I've thought about it before. It's not a bad idea. There's just not a way for me to legally and efficiently do it for games like that. Rob, you aren't kidding, son. I am so happy for that guy. So happy. Do you think we as a fan base were too hard on Harsin? I don't know if you're being sincere in this, or if this is like a leading question. I do think we were too hard on him. I think. How about this? I think social media, but that social media was too hard on Harsin. I absolutely do, and I think there's very much proof of that. It brings out the worst in people because they can hide behind anonymous names and say things without any consequence. Even if they tag the Coach Harsin in it, there's going to be no consequence for them. It's a sad reflection of adults acting like children. Now, listen, I love social media. I have fun with it too. I mess with people all the time, but it's always in good humor and in good faith. Some of the stuff that goes on there is just disgusting. So that would be my answer to that. We were too hard, but that's not just a Harsin thing. That's just a social media thing that we're in general. Tailgate party Saturday over at PCB. Linda says you're welcome. Linda, you're not going to be. Oh, this is this Saturday. I need to see you at Tiger Walk. for Texas A&M game. We're going to cheer Caddy coming through Tiger Walk together. It's going to be, listen, y'all don't understand. This is going to be the most hype football game of the entire year, bar none. And that's saying something. That Penn State game, the lead up to it, the first quarter, second quarter maybe, was jumping. Do you think, Thomas asked, do you think Auburn tries to hire at the end of the regular season or waits to hire a coach who is coaching in the postseason? My people I talked to, I talked to one, seems to be in the know of these type of situations, just kind of asked him today, hey, any feelers out there? He said, still don't feel like it'll happen until after the Iron Bowl, meaning the final week, because that's going to determine a lot of things, like who's in the championship game, who's going where bowl-wise. Well, yeah, bowl-wise, especially after championship week. Listen, the things may be in motion to already happen, whether it's Lane, Dion, someone else. We just won't be privy about it. You know, I saw a rumor today that Lane's been reaching out to other staffers at other schools, seeing if they'll come with him to Auburn. Who knows if that's true? It's probably not. You know, but sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. The question is to what degree. So my gut tells me we will not know for a while, which makes you think I put my little video I did out today a little bit too early then. But I wanted to kind of catch on with the rest of the hype, and then everybody else is doing them too. Yeah, Texas A&M fans, it's the weirdest thing, Rob. I remember last time I was in a game with them, and they were like so gracious as guests. It was really odd to see, like, behaving themselves. And I just realized that I like having this little thing up too. I don't know why. I like having that up alongside me. Maybe y'all don't, but I do. So let me bring that back up until someone calls. Yeah, they seem to be fun fans. They don't take themselves too seriously. And yeah, so I think it's going to be a fun day. Fun day. Terrence, do you think they'll give Cadillac a shot at head coach if he goes 3-1, 4-1? If Cadillac goes 4-0 to a bowl game, he will get a shot, a legitimate shot at being the head coach. If he goes 3-1, it's kind of what the expectations would have been for Harsin anyway. So it's not like he did anything outstanding aside from keeping the ship afloat, which is still, you know, quite a task to do. If he goes 4-0 to a bowl game, I'm not saying he gets the job, but he better get a very hard, long look from that, you know, staff. Just make sure you give him his due. I think for his sake, for his experience, I hope they give him an interview regardless, because they've already entrusted him with the leadership of this program. Let him get some interview experience as a head coach. It'd be invaluable for him. So I think Carnell, minus winning games, has already done all he can do for himself if he is a legitimate candidate. Winning games, though, that really takes it up a notch for him. December will be a huge recruiting month. Yeah, maybe so. I am not going to Starkville. I will be here, relaxing at home, getting some work done, but also some housework done. And yeah. You were hard on Harsin. Well, listen, everybody was, and that's probably a play on words there, so I'm just going to leave it at that. With Caddy at the helm, there better be some fake spinning rims in the crowd. Oh my goodness, that would be hilarious. It's like get the student section to like form a car and just have like spinning rims down there, look, and like make it into the shape of a Cadillac. That'd be amazing. All right, I will see you at Tiger Walk. Great, Teddy. I will kick you off this stream. I have said, and I will go on record again, that I personally would support anybody that comes because they were chosen as my coach. I will have a really hard time stomaching Urban Meyer. A really hard time. Like, that will not go over well with me. Urban Meyer is a no, an emphatic no. I would take Nick Saban before I take Urban Meyer. That should tell you something. But Kyle, he's a wins wherever he goes. But yeah, he leaves in utter ashes everywhere he goes to. It's not worth it, folks. I I know there will be some players who check out for the rest of the season, but I fully believe the kids that are on board with Caddy are ready to play hard. I think if you were going to check out, you've already done it. We've already seen another one enter the transfer portal, so that's all done, right? I think most of that's already done. So the guys that are there, they're left over. I think they're bought in. I mean, what else do you have to lose at this point? You know, you're fighting for bowl eligibility. Just give it all you got. See what happens. You got talent on that team. Well, no matter what everybody thinks, you've got talent. Make it. Just figure it out. I love the idea of our players returning from T-Town and their dream head coach waiting in Auburn for them when they arrive. Well, who is that? It's a big question. Yeah, well, I mean, you haven't heard that. You probably see that too. I mean, that's an article already being written. Listen, you are going to see every. So when I say these things, it sounds like I'm taking a shot at the other media people, and I'm not, because they're doing their jobs. They're doing what they're supposed to do. You are going to see articles written at what they know will get you to read and will get to, like, of course people are going to flip if Dion comes. Of course people are going to flip if Lane comes. But of course they're going to play off the Dion thing right now. Don't think that Dion's some magic thing in the bucket because it's Deion Sanders. Will he get a little bit more excitement than anybody else in this list? Absolutely he will. I'm not denying that. But don't think that he's going to be some cure-all for everything. Let's put it into perspective just a little bit. I agree. I would take Elmo instead of Urban. I agree. Listen. No Urban. No, none whatsoever. Swag Bros says, I think Coach Lane and Dion are 4 or 5-year coaches. Stoops and Rule would be a long-term. I don't think Rule would be. To me, Rule has not shown staying power anywhere. I don't think Rule would be. I would throw him into that category. I disagree with Lane, but I agree with you on Dion. So I would just flip that. I would say long-term coaches would be Stoops and Lane, and then put Rule over there with Dion. Here's why. Lane Kiffin's been around. He knows where that's a joke there too. He's been around. He knows what he wants out of life, so to speak, in his career. I don't think he's going back to the NFL. Auburn traditionally is not a place where you move on from. You get told to move on from. You get told to move on. So to me, Lane Kiffin, as the antithesis of Coach Saban, looks at this opportunity where he's going to be retiring in the nearish future. He can give him crap at the rival school. And then when the next guy comes in, he's already going to have a leg up on him because he's the guy that took down Saban. There's a lot to like for Lane Kiffin and for Lane Kiffin. And listen, I am not a humongous Lane Kiffin fan. I'd much rather have some other coaches, but I know they're not going to sell as well. But I think it's probably what's going to happen if he wants it, if Auburn wants it. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, we got another caller, so we're going to take a break on the questions here. We'll say hello to one of our good friends, Mr. Dusty in the dark. What is going on, sir?
I'm driving home. Boss kept me late today because he knew Auburn was playing basketball.
Well, and I went live an hour earlier, so sorry about that.
I normally don't work this late, but it's all good, buddy. You got priorities, man. We got hoops tonight.
Listen, who puts basketball before a stupid YouTube show? Come on, right?
Well, my thing is, how do we get to watch basketball in Israel, but I don't get to watch it when we're playing at home?
That's a really, really interesting point there. How does that happen? Because ESPN knew they were going to make money off of it, which I don't see how they weren't going to make money off of this tonight. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, ESPN's an interesting bunch. Pete Thamel, that's my guy.
Yeah, Pete Thamel.
Yeah. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah. You got me all choked up just thinking about Pete Thamel now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I got choked up. This week, man, when my favorite Auburn player of all time got named interim head coach. I just watched the interview. I know I watched your live stream as well after he had got announced. I know that he's your boy too, as he probably is everybody in our generation, right?
Look at that man back there. You look at that man back there and tell me he's not ready to coach them Auburn Tigers up. You tell me that man wasn't
Yeah,
born for this moment.
I'm throwing on the 24 jersey Saturday. I got an autograph picture and an autograph ball from them. Those will be right beside the TV. And it's just, man, like you said on the live stream, you said it perfectly. Just if you could tell 12-year-old Dustin, Cadillac's going to be the head coach one day. And I know it's just for 4 games, but man, like, just the opportunity, he'll have it forever. And I don't think we're going to win this week, but I didn't think we were going to win another game with Harsin. But now I do feel like we have a legit shot at A&M. I think that atmosphere, that crowd is going to get nuts and get behind Caddy. And then I'm penciling in West. I didn't think we were going to beat Western Kentucky, and now for sure I think that's a dub. And I see us getting A&M as well, which will really make that LSU game hurt because we're going to miss a bowl by a game if that happens. But
it is.
I think, man, it's just a new. We knew it was coming, so I think that they did it smart. And I would like to hear your thoughts on just how Monday went. Because it kind of seemed to me like the strategy was just bombard it with so much news. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I feel you. Real quick, let me give a thanks to Swag Bros who just dropped a super chat in there. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that, Swag Bros.
Good job, Swag Bros. And like and subscribe. We're trying to get this thing to 5,000, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are. That subscriber goal, man. We're going to get there. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we'll get there. Thoughts on Monday? Yeah. So I was talking with a friend the night before, actually, and we were kind of, if I was the administration, if I was the powers that be, how would I play this out if I'm going to fire Harsin? Would I do one day of firing Harsin, let everybody think settle, and do the AD? And the guy said, you know what? That was what we should do. I think they're just going to do it all in one day. And boy, did they. 11:30, 12, whatever time it was, somewhere in that range, there comes the firing. Or was it like 2, 3 o'clock, something like that? Cadillac gets announced. We all lose our minds. And then I'm sitting around talking to the same guy. I'm like, do you think they're going to drop the AD news today? He said, I mean, I don't see why they don't at this point. And sure enough, about like 30 minutes later, it comes through. And I was just, I have not been that tired in quite some time. I've done 2-hour streams before, and I just like nearly died, but I was super tired after all that. I mean, it was a day, man. I had wished for my personal sanity that they hadn't done all that on the same day. But listen, I'm not going to complain for the looks that the channel got. So yeah, it was
for sure. No, I did an episode with the podcast that I have a little deal with, and it is by
Mr.
far
Big
the most viewed by 100.
Yeah,
Mr. Big Time. I wish. But yeah, and I thought about you actually, because I mean, like I said, by hundreds, and then I thought about you because I was like, yeah, Kyle said that negative sales.
I told you. Well, but here's so
yeah.
To that point, let me take what you said.
But
so
it's big news,
It is, but let me actually refute what I said too. The negative always sells consistently. I don't know if you can look at it, but like the numbers of my firing Harsin live stream versus Caddy, it's double. Caddy's double because it's such a cool story. There is a point where you reach a story so cool, so unique that it trumps everything. Like even the negative, more popular thing at the time. And let's be honest, we all knew this was coming. We all knew, it was just a matter of time. We were ready to be done with it. And we wanted a feel-good story. So that's why I was like, I'm planning on doing a second live stream tonight. Do I dare do a third? I was like, I'm so hyped about Cadillac. I got to do a live stream about him. So to the conversation we had previously, yes, negativity sells better consistently. But there are sometimes some things are just too good not to just get everybody hyped up.
Yeah, and I would say like, negativity can sell like on a bang, right? Like, oh, boom, somebody got fired, or oh, boom, here's a crazy bad story. But like, if Auburn keeps up having really, really bad seasons in football, I don't think that negativity is going to sell. What I'm saying, say we have 3 more seasons of bad football. I think people will check out and it becomes an apathetic type thing, right?
Well, and so they did this month.
At some point, it has to be But yeah, I mean, like, man, I kind of checked out. Like, I still paid attention to, the necessary stuff to know what was going on. But like, normally I'm, all day listening to every press conference and this, that, and the other. And it just got to that point to where it was so toxic, where it was just like, man, this is not,
Oh yeah,
it's not it.
and that was kind of my point with and I got flack for having the audacity to say, let's be supportive of the head coach, even if he's going to be leaving, because we've all said what we needed to say. Like there was nothing else further. We've all made up our minds. He's gone. He needs to be gone. Let's try to find something. Let's talk about something. But that it just, you reach a point where it becomes such a bad thing. There's just not going to be any breaking out of that type of perspective. I'm just glad it's done. I'm sad for him, his family, his staff that's already gone, his staff that will probably leave further. Because I'm sad for the players, because yes, Caddy talked about it today, how happy the players were for him, but he talked a lot about the bittersweetness for him personally and for the players. And you saw some of them on, social media. I think Wesley Steiner was one in particular, but I saw others as well talking about how disappointed they were in some of the fans, but also just how much they're hurting for Coach Harsin and their team right now. Because maybe they're excited and they should be for Caddy, but this is another transition for some of these. Wesley's been here, 3 years, 4 years now at this point? I can't remember. Yeah. So this is another transition for him. So it sucks, but it had to happen. Time to move on.
Yeah, and I think, I felt like the sun came back out. Like, I just felt like a weight was lifted, kind of thing. And it's like, all right, man, we can get behind our guy. We don't have any expectations. Basketball starting, so we'll all be with that. How can you not be fired up for what the baseball teams put out? Like, and then the responsible people in the media and the people who actually know what's going on have all pointed out, like, man, Auburn is the best job that's going to be available in this cycle. Right. That worked to our advantage highly. And, we all see what On to Victory has accumulated. And, it's just, there was an article that was posted on 3 today, and they were talking about, and I screenshotted it because I was like, okay, I'm 3 years from now, I hope I look at this and say, all right. But they were just talking about how Cohen's first meeting with the administration. I don't know if you saw that, but just talk about how it was just very positive, and the main discussion apparently was everybody being on the same page, everybody getting aligned and getting together and having a vision. And they all talked about, this is according to the report, I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but they all talked about what knowing the new age with the NIL and what we're going to have to do to close the gap and compete with Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. So, man, I'm excited. I think, like I said, I think they handled everything the best that they could Monday. It's never fun to fire a coach, but right. like we talked about, the numbers speak for themselves. We all know what it was. I think that I read an article that was talking about just how hard Caddy's already on recruiting, and that's just so impressive to me. It's such a smart move from Roberts, because that whether he's retained or not, he wants what's best for Auburn. He's going to give it his all. And I know Zach would have too, but Caddy's just a fan favorite. So it just kind of gives everybody. It probably sold more tickets to A&M, right? It probably sold some tickets to Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, I can't get to A&M, but I'm definitely looking at getting to Western Kentucky now. I want to be able to watch a game where my boy was the head coach. So I think it was just a smart move all around, and what is obviously a not fun situation. But I think that the future is bright for Auburn. I like the list of candidates. They all have pros and cons. Mm-hmm. And I kind of had to convince myself. I watched your video and I kind of sat back and I thought, and I was like, there's not going to be a perfect hire. That's just really rare. So with these guys, there's pros and there's cons. I think the biggest pro that all three of these guys have is roster management can improve very quickly. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Lane, Hugh, or Dion, you would see an immediate bump in just our talent level. And next year, that's going to be crucial.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens. I'm optimistic that the search will be done clean and in a timely manner. And I would hope that after the Iron Bowl concludes, that our next coach is announced in 48 hours and we can hit the ground running. And one thing I want to leave you with, I want to ask you, have you found anything else about whose decision it was to let the coaches go?
No, I had one person that I trust tell me that it was Cadillac's decision. I listened to Cole Kubelik and Greg McElroy interview Andy Burcham today, and he did not say that he knew that. He even said, "I'm speculating that it was not Cadillac's decision." So I can't confirm or deny that.
It just would be interesting if it was. That'd be really interesting if it was.
When I was told that, I was like, "Are you sure?" He said,
"Yeah,
that's what I'm being told," and I don't know if I buy into it today as much, but every time I question this person, I'm wrong. So, Kyle, learn your lesson at some point. But it's almost one of those stories that it's like it got fed out there just to see, like, what the reaction would be. But I don't know. Listen,
I turned my head when you said it. I said, man, if that's true, whoa.
You think you turned your head? I said, excuse me? Shut up. Excuse me. So, all right, sir. Well, it was great to hear from you tonight. Thanks for calling in on your way home.
Man. Yes, sir. Appreciate all your hard work, buddy. War Eagle.
Thank you, War Eagle. All right, guys, we do have breaking news, it seems like, on the show. Not like in terms of a coach or anything like that, but apparently they have announced that you can watch the game on YouTube. Now, is this the broadcast of just Andy and Sonny commentating, or are they going to actually show the game? People are saying they're warming up. Other people are talking about that. If that's the case, what a brilliant move. Auburn for the win in the last 48 hours. You named Cadillac coach. 48 hours. You put your exhibition game that people have been lamenting we can't watch on YouTube. Is this real, folks? Like, are they going to play this during the thing? This is amazing. All right, we got another caller, but let me do this real quick. Want to remind you of our friends over at allthingsauburn.net. They bring you the Auburn Family live stream every single Wednesday night, normally at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that'll still be the plan going forward. Just a little bit different tonight, and we might have to do this a little bit during basketball season. Anyway, back to our things at All Things Auburn. Check them out over there because they're going to be not just a place for you to stay when you're coming to visit the loveliest village on the plains. 0.3 walking miles from all the biggest venues: Neville Arena, not Auburn Arena, but Neville Arena, Plainsman Park, Jordan-Hare, and very close to downtown Auburn as well. And that beautiful campus. Stay with our friends at All Things Auburn, not just for a place to stay, but to have a whole and complete Auburn experience. All right, let's say hello to our next caller. She's out of the kitchen, apparently, or in the kitchen.
Oh, yes, I am. No, I'm not. I'm not in the kitchen.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just ready to put my kids to bed.
I would say I understand. I don't, because I'm not a parent yet. But I can anticipate those.
Yeah. It'll be great. It'll be so much fun. But so I wanted to start out with by saying that I watched the interview with Cadillac today, and I supported Coach Harsin. I was really sad how everything ended. It was horrible. But if you didn't cry or have any kind of emotion to his interview today, please go find a heart, because you clearly don't have one. I cried. I was crying. Ugh.
If people, let me just say this. I am not advocating for violence or anything like that. But if you have a problem with Coach Cadillac being given the interim, that's it, the interim status, I will come find you, and I have a woodshed that I will take you behind and just rip your Auburn card first from you, and I might smack you around a few times. Like, there is nothing wrong with this decision. Like, it is we don't always agree with everything Auburn does. Trust me, we all express it on social media. But this was the most complete, unquestionable decision that they have made in I shouldn't say in quite some time, throughout this process, that nobody should disagree with.
This has to be the most unifying thing this was the most unifying thing they could have done.
Yes.
It was the best decision they could have made. And I think you talked about it, because some people are like, well, why not Zach? Because he was associate head coach.
I was shocked.
And I think that Cadillac just has more of that personality. Because everybody knows who Cadillac is. And not that everyone doesn't know who Zach is, but I just feel like, I mean, not to say that Zach wouldn't have done a great job or could have done the same thing, you know? Yeah. But I mean, I think everyone just can get behind it. And like you said, coming out of the tunnel at Texas A&M game, I wish I could be there.
Yeah. And you saw Zach even posted once it was announced celebrating him as well. So whether that was done just out of formality but I choose to believe it was done genuinely. Yeah. You can see Zach, you know, is like, this ain't about me, man. This is about Auburn. And if he's what is best for us right now, my time will come. Yep. He's still associate head coach. He's got that on his resume. And you know, Cadillac's the recruiting coordinator too. So you kind of want maybe him to be the face. He did admit that it's a little overwhelming right now, which you can imagine. It's not like you weren't just made head coach all of a sudden or anything. But you could hear him at times have to gather himself. You could hear him kind of just have to, you know, think about what he was saying. And, you know, he's not used to this. So there's probably nervousness there, I'm sure. But man, this is a guy that never thought in a million years he would be at Auburn probably at some point in his life, but much less the head coach. So what a cool story. Yeah,
I thought it was awesome. And to the question earlier about were we too hard on Harsin, I would say,
this is Stuntman from Twitter. I love you, Stuntman, but he's just messing with us too. So just so you know that.
Well, I didn't notice what.
I know. Trust me, I've watched you, Stuntman. Not picking on you, but I know that was all done in jest. But anyway, go ahead and address it.
So I agree with what you said. I would also add the criticism of Harsin was fair. There were things that need to be criticized. The way it was done was disgusting.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It was completely unnecessary. The things that were said. And I have learned through this process which Auburn media to pay attention to and which to completely ignore. So that's good. Now I don't have to waste my time on certain media people. Because when you sit there and you cut quotes and you take things out of context and you make things up, it's not okay. It doesn't help Auburn. It doesn't help anyone. It's disgusting. And I don't have time for it. I'm not going to sit there and entertain it. It's just ridiculous.
I would say yesterday was not the best showing for some people. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, that's, I mean, this whole time, like I've been seeing it this whole season. And it's just, you know, you want to say, well, he doesn't need any help looking bad. Then why are you doing it?
Yeah,
you
know? I'd like to act like I could do better. I'm an imperfect person too. Oh, look, we got a visitor. Hey, what's up?
You want to say War Eagle?
Can you say War Eagle? War Eagle. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Yeah, it's. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. That's what. I need. Kyle, you need to learn to put that foot insert in mouth before you have to do it. So just leave it there.
But I'm just ready to move on. And that's the point, is we need to move on. Yeah. He's gone. It's done. If I see a article that says Harsin, I'm not reading it. I don't care. It's done. Now. Yep. Recruiting horror stories, don't care. I don't care. It's time to move on. We've had enough. I think we've all had enough negativity. So I think it's just time to move on, support Cadillac, and you know, maybe some of us need to review the Auburn Creed, or just, you know, what it means to be a good person.
Well, you know, that's not going to happen on social media, but
I know. Yeah, you know, my dad said I was talking to him about the social media. He's like, social media just attracts the worst, and just brings out the worst in people.
Well, it brings out the worst in me too. I will be honest.
Yeah. Me too. Like I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna type this. I'm like, oh, okay. Do I really need to though? Probably not.
That's why it's good to type it out, sit for a second, and say, does this need to be said? I did that once yesterday, and I stopped. I said, I don't need to do it, and then I saw something. I said, I need to do it. So that's
sometimes it needs to be said. Sometimes you got to say something.
Yeah. here, let's address this real quick because he's been asking it nonstop. I don't know if this is a Tennessee fan, I guess, but he's been asking it to everybody. What kind of question is this? Are we happy that Tennessee beat Alabama? Like, duh.
I don't really.
Sorry, AIP dog. I'm not trying to pick on you, but like, what kind of question is that? Like, duh.
I know. One, it's Alabama. Dinner's ready. Okay, thank you. Two, I mean, Tennessee is on the rise and coming up. I mean, I've never had any beef with Tennessee, so good for them.
Yeah.
We didn't have to play them this year, so.
Yep.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them. Love that they gave it to Alabama.
Yeah.
I hope we can do it. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. But I think we've got a lot more positive outlook on things.
We certainly do.
Right or wrong, I think everyone's like, okay, maybe we can get one, and it's not like, I mean, what are Cadillac's expectations? Put the team on the field, right? I mean.
Yeah, he talked about it today.
Yeah,
he said he flat out said no promises. I can't promise y'all anything, but what I can do is make sure these guys play the brand of Auburn football that you're accustomed to the best of their ability. And that ability may not be there.
Yeah.
We don't know until we've played the game. But you know that right now it's not about wins and losses. It's about getting together as the Auburn family, getting hyped up when that man runs out of that tunnel on Texas. I know he's got a game before him. Boy, I'm gonna be hoarse before even kickoff starts. So,
yeah. And there's no pressure, I feel like. And I was thinking about this, like, as I was listening, there was a lot of pressure on Harsin and the team this season. He was coaching for his job. And how much did that play into everything? I mean, it just couldn't handle it. And I think he'll be successful somewhere else, and I hope he is, and I wish him all the best, But yeah.
Yeah. So AIP, we were not picking on you. I just hope you know that when we were like, do you think we love that? we love it when Alabama loses. We don't care who it is. Yep. Like I don't care.
Except Georgia now. Didn't you not want Georgia to win the national championship?
It's one of those things. I rooted for the Meteor, right? Like, I mean, of course I rooted for the media there. Like, it's like I said, could we just have like no bodily harm to anybody, but like the essence of both programs just be left in the stadium and the meteorite come down and obliterate it from all reality? Everybody else is fine, but it's like it never existed again. That's what I wanted. Like, that's all I asked.
My dad said the same thing. I can't remember if it was the SEC championship. I just remember it was Florida, and it was either Georgia or Alabama playing. And I was like, Dad, who do you want to win? He was like, I hope the stadium burns down.
Yeah, not wishing bodily harm on anybody.
Okay.
Just the essence is gone forever from reality. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. I do have another caller. You got one more thing you want to say before you head out?
Oh, yes. Whoever the head coach is, let's all be open-minded, and I think we will be. But I see everyone on social media. Just some people. Go.
Hey, we're some people.
It takes too long to explain. But when Brian Harsin was first hired, I was actually upset. I was, because I hate Boise State, and that's a long story that we can go into another time. But I was like, seriously, you got the coach from Boise State? Ugh, thanks a lot. But I gave him a chance, and I actually ended up really liking him, supporting him. So whoever comes with, even if it's not who you wanted, or if you don't like the guy, let's all just be supportive, because we need some unity where we haven't had any for a while.
It is time. It is time. Thank you so much for calling in tonight, Devin.
Yep, you bet.
All right, bye. All right, we got our next one. Where he is. Hold on. There he is. Mr. Thomas Manville. How's it going, sir? Like, my thing malfunctioned on me. Like, I was like, I switched you over. So I didn't want to let you talk tonight. How's it going, sir?
Good, great. War Eagle, everybody. How are you, Kyle?
I'm doing good. If this is true that we can watch the basketball game, even if it's a bad angle, apparently, my night just got even better.
Well, if we can watch it on one tab and then listen to the actual broadcast on the other, it might just work out fine.
If I would bring it on here if I could. I know that I will get nuked in terms of a YouTube channel. Honestly, probably it would take them a long time, even if they would find that interesting enough to like nuke it. But there are things I wish I could do for y'all. It just is not possible. Well, it is possible. It's just you run the risk of getting taken down, and I'm not about that life.
I don't blame you, man. I really don't blame you at all. You never want to get turned off, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a crazy world out there where they'll cancel you for anything, and you don't want to give them a reason to do that at all. What's on your mind, sir? There's plenty to be on your mind.
Yeah, it's been a week so far. It feels like 9 days crammed into 3, but I mean, everything. I guess everything's been touched on so far. Okay, this guy got fired. This guy's the interim. These guys got fired. We got a new athletic director. I think we're on the up, and I think a lot of people. And recruiting is important. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're trying to bank on who the coach is as the only recruiting tool. And I just kind of want to piggyback off something Dusty said, I believe it was Monday in one of the other lives. He said, Auburn sells itself. And if you've ever been on that campus, that's the truest statement that's ever been made. That university is going to sell itself. It is an incredible place. It's a top 15 job nationally for any coach. And once you step foot on that campus, you understand how special that place is.
Right.
So, yes, recruiting is important. But if we have to wait a little while and we don't just blow it up in December, there's a lot of transfer portal guys that are out there. We're going to have to rely on it whether we like it or not. We are. We're not going to bring in 15 freshmen who are going to turn it around in 1 year. It just doesn't happen in college ball or any kind of football or sport, really.
Mm-hmm.
But
yep.
I think we're in a pretty good spot recruiting-wise and again, piggybacking off of Dusty because, look, we all know he's a smart dude. He knows what he's talking about. Auburn sells itself. So if you have to wait a little while to get the right coach, I'm not upset with it. I'm not going to feel like we're that far behind. I know we're pretty far behind, but I don't think it's going to make it that much worse by waiting a little while to get the right guy because Auburn sells itself.
It does. It absolutely does. It's a tool that not a lot of people have. Like there's other beautiful campuses, there's other great, fan bases, but there's something different. It's hard for us to, put our finger on it to say exactly what it is. But if you know it, if you experience it, you know what it is, even if you can't explain it. So that's what I hope, this does is it reignites that, reinvigorates that. Caddy talked about it today in his SEC teleconference about, just excited to get out there and sell what he knows as the Auburn experience. And sometimes that's the best salesman, when someone knows to their core what it means and trying to explain that, just showing people, what this place has to offer them outside of football, outside of sports, just what Auburn has to offer. So a lot of things to be excited for. So we are limited on time. I can take one more question because we got this basketball game to get to, folks. But what you got?
Let's see. Let's go to basketball real quick.
Yep.
I think I really feel like we're going to start 7-0 this year. I just like looking at the schedule. Now we do have some pieces that have not been there regularly. These guys are still kind of learning how to play, but I think that time in Israel really helped them figure out who's the best at what. So I'm thinking we're going to drop some regular season games, and I don't care as long as we get to the tournament and get through the tournament. Like that's my end goal in basketball is I don't care. I don't care how many wins and losses you had during the season. Did you make it through the SEC tournament? Did you make it to the national picture? I mean, I don't care if we lose 2 games in football and still win a natty. I'm happy because we won it all. So I'm trying not to focus as much on the schedule or our regular season.
Yep.
Our outcome as much as I am getting through it to achieve the goal that we all as Auburn fans, and I'm sure the players and the whole coaching staff wants.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot in front of this basketball team, in all the programs, but I think sometimes we as fans and the team to some extent in any facet just focus too much on the stuff that's way off in the future. Let's take care of our A's and our B's before we get to our Z's, kind of thing. And we'll just see where it happens. But excited to watch this one tonight, apparently. Big surprise. We all get to watch it. So we're all going to go do that here just shortly. So thanks for calling in, Thomas.
Absolutely. I'm taking the computer out to the barbecue pit and watching it as soon as we hang up, buddy.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks, buddy, for calling in tonight.
Y'all have a great night, War Eagle.
War Eagle. All right. Don't go just yet. We're going to do, I know it's technically starting right now. Literally, it's 8 o'clock. But let me give you a couple things here. I need you to give me your perspective on either in the chat before you go, or you can post it as a comment, which will enter you into our subscriber giveaway that we have going on right now to win a signed Auburn football and a prize package that we have along with that. I need to know if you guys would like me to do a late, I'm talking probably 11:30, between 11:30 and 12, post-game show reaction about this one. If you would not want me to do that one, I could maybe do one early in the morning. If you want that, let me know. Second thing, we are going to have a guest on to do somewhat of a season preview because the season doesn't technically start until Monday, probably either Friday evening or Sunday early afternoon. Which would you prefer? That's what I need to know from you guys. Let me know in the comment section of this video, or you can let me know in the live chat right now, whichever you prefer. On your way out, smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out the links in the description to be a channel member, to be a Booster Club member. Again, Booster Club members, make sure you check the app. Some of you I sent messages to about re-upping this month. There were some issues with that, but just check that. If you got a message, it's from me. Guys, thank y'all so much for being willing to be here on a little bit earlier time to hang out with me. Go watch that basketball game. I appreciate you guys. You are the best little family within the Auburn family. And we'll talk to you again very soon. Let's go beat UAH. It's basketball season, y'all.